why I'm saying this is a meeting of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. It's a working session for Guam Power Authority. Though, for the record, those present are myself, Commissioner Tiaco, Commissioner Sanchez, and Commissioner Santos. John, the floor is yours. Sure. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Sir, regarding the property insurance,
Okay.
in the last, in January, we had a meeting about the commission decides to give to the market. So far, there's two markets we have. First, they were able to obtain firm pricing for that, maintain the same rate. The rate means the premium charge value. And the London market has been June. So they're only accepting emails and the backlog, and they're only been in expiring on this. So it's been difficult to get that. So I just got an email from the commissioners and also with the London markets are the hardest same rate provided. Of course, that's the rate doesn't make the. They say that right now the market they're looking about 10-20% increase. They say they try to maintain the same rate, but if the worst would be about 10%. The other issue we had, originally for a approval of what's the approved bid. Fortunately, we just got notice from March. the things we were wondering if it's okay for us to table this and give them until April to give them more opportunity to see if they get confirmed quotes from and
Commissioner Sanchez?
Earlier you mentioned that correct me if I misunderstood, when a contract is expiring, that's the only time London wants to look at it, right? And isn't our contract expiring where we're faced with either exercise an option or issue a new bid? I mean,
yes.
So they still wouldn't give you an indication of the cost of the option?
Yeah, they were not.
'Cause I think that's what our interest was at the last meeting, was at least explore, well, what's an option going to look like?
Yes, so they were not able to get a response from the underwriters.
And they're on the 65%, the London underwriters.
Yes.
The 35% you were informed
Yes.
isn't going to change, right?
Yes.
But the 65%, we don't know the status. So
Yes.
if we exercise the option, we don't know what that option cost will be. It's sort of a bit of chicken and the egg, right? We have to tell them we're exercising, and then they tell us the price. Right?
They said that usually don't give it the, right now what I'm hearing is they usually don't provide the firm price until like 30 to 60 days for the expiry.
And then, okay, so we don't know what the option is. If we go out to market, we don't know what the new price will be either, right? So, I mean, we have the risk of uncertainty either tactic we take, right?
Yes.
Exercise the, and we know the current provider team, of underwriters and how they've serviced us and how was their history with us during the 3 years? What was the rate of increase?
Oh, the local market has been maintaining the same rate, but the London market has been growing.
So in the last, we had the first 3 years, they had 3 years,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What were the annual rates of increase on the last 3 years from the London side of the?
Yes, for the London side, we've been increasing about a little bit less than 20%.
Each year?
Each year. On last year, what we did is they increased by a little bit more, or we just revalued our asset. Certain asset we decided not to insure, and so the total insured value actually went down.
We self-insured on some stuff, yeah,
Yes,
basically.
yes,
Yeah.
and times whatever rate insurance premium rate is, so we came same rate because of that.
I think
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think we're 8 months away from the November date, and that's John's just trying to get this into the market if that's what we're going to do early, right? So, again, it is a tough market, so what we were discussing again is to be able to bring it say to the CCU in April, like PUC in April. Another alternative that will cut down on this time frame is really the process. We're going to have to ask the PUC to amend the process a little bit, meaning it's kind of a straightforward bid, and we come and we get the CCU approval and then the PUC approval of the bid documents, right? They approve it, then we go out to the market. Then once we're done, then we agree, even if it's one bidder, we get the CC approval and then we move to the PUC again. So what we're going to like to ask them is that, okay, say if this price is within plus or minus 10% or 20%, then just allow us to go ahead and contract it, because it's not like, it's a fairly straightforward bid. So that will help us cut down on the time so that we're not up against the March, because it's we're kind of in this quandary right now. So that's all we can offer. We don't know what one way or the other, and again, just the same players that are probably going to bid at the same time.
What in your thinking, what would happen if we just exercise the option? Francis, Commissioner Santos, you have your in-house expert. If we exercise the option, what do you think might happen? If you put out the bid, what do you think might happen? Because right now the proposal is to bid it out, right? If I'm reading the resolution correctly. sorry, management saying your preference is to bid it out and not exercise the option? Why you pick one versus the other?
For me, I mean, the way I can answer that is, if you do a bid, we know this is what the market price is. So there's no if and but, this is the true price. When you do a bid, you know.
Right,
this.
right.
Yeah.
But if you exercise an option with the same group that's been insuring you, you get a chance to negotiate, don't you? Where versus with a bid, you're stuck with the bid. I mean, at least you can say, hey, we've exercised the option, you're raising us 50%. We're not happy. What do you think?
We haven't been successful in that.
Okay.
One of the issues that we know that the market is very tight. We can't control it. So I need to if our backs are up to this wall because we wait too long, I think they exercise that option to do it. And last year, for example, basically, Martin's budget, when you come back and comes back 20,
Yeah.
there's no way you can recoup. I think that's
Right.
use of our national skills that we have here. Plus is that knowing that the market is somewhat constricted, but we also need to remind them that, hey, it's not a small premium. But at least consider that we need to do something to maintain. So that's why this is one exercise that we need, because I know there are brokers doing all this shit too. We need to wake them up also and say, come on. Don't want our business, and let us know now.
And
Because I'm not, I mean. giving
but
them
by doing
something
this,
they want.
by approving.
By doing this, it's going to alert them. I'm like, not seeing this right with our food for. They've been a little bit, I don't think it's fair to us to be minding how.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
That's not right. I don't. It's not market. I think we all know that.
And
I don't see I don't like the fact that we have to go and that the only way for us to save money is revaluing our assets.
yeah,
Which is the other way
or
around.
self-insure.
Yeah. Again, that we're wrong. Or, we have to exercise.
But I like what your proposal earlier in the year was go to an existing partner and say, hey, we're willing to exercise the option. Can you give us an idea of what that might look like? And they haven't given us any response. It's almost like you're saying, well, then you're almost forcing us. It's hard for us to exercise the option with no information, but so you're almost forcing us to put out a bid, and we don't want to wait till October. We got to get, one way or the other.
Maybe the alternative is if fish are cut big in April, we're not gonna have to bring this decision further. We'll move forward. I don't know. Maybe that will move them to make a decision.
Oh, you mean because we have another month now with to try to pressure them into it? Give us an idea.
It, and then again we have April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. We still have 7 months to get this done, and we can get it done. No.
And then another dumb question. I mean, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the Globe is insured by like 5 people, right? I mean, all these guys are more or less the same players at the big level, right? And so whether we bid or exercise the option, we're going to end up talking roughly to the same players, right? Who have to decide, well, they exercise the option, I'm going to charge them X. Oh no, they're going to bid, I'm going to charge them. Let's see what the bid specs are, but it seems to me that on their side, it's like, well, hey, we want to buy insurance. We're just asking you to give us, and we have already a contract that says we can exercise an option to stay with you, but you got to give us a reason to stay. But that was the intention in January, I think, and then it was a good strategy. We're just not getting their cooperation, which is, I think, what you're saying, Commissioner Santos, is, well, now you're forcing our hand to, well, you're not going to tell us what an option is. What do we have to lose by bidding it out, right? Because we can't compare it to anything, right? So
Not right now.
right. So, but you're saying with the PUC not meeting in March, it gives us another month to,
Try.
would that help us with?
I mean,
I don't.
That's really at the management side, right? And we're not.
Right, but from your
involved in
experience,
that.
well, you're right, 'cause, yeah.
You can, I mean, the worst you can do is ask them, they say no.
Which is what they've said so far, right? They're not gonna give us a
And at
price.
some point, you gotta say, okay,
We'll just say, gotta let us know, pay.
Yeah. At least, and we have enough time, since we're not gonna get it, no matter what we do, the PC is not gonna look at it till April.
Graham, from the legal side, if, for example, we went to them and say, we have a 2-year, well, we have 1+1, right? Yes. And our offer on the table is, we'll grant the 2 years, but we want no more than a 10% increase of the next 2 years. You could do 3 + 7, 5, whatever format, but no more than 10%. Will that put us in a bind, or can we make that kind of an offer, or?
I mean, we've combined the options. I think we have a good deal on the table.
And it's negotiating with our current partner, giving them their last
I'm
chance
just saying I
to,
don't want to get into any kind
Yeah,
of legal bind
Right,
or an offer's on the table, and, you know, it's either yes or no, right? As far as I'm concerned. So maybe we try that tack and just figure out what we feel is a reasonable increase, given what we think we know on the market. And try that approach. And if it, again, you know, you come back with the same no, at some point we have to really decide what version of no do we want.
Yeah, then we'll have to move forward in April.
one option at this point.
Right.
So table it for a month.
Yeah, well, and then come make, I mean, again, make a formal offer.
Yes.
Put it in writing and send it to them and say, okay, this is, you know, come back to us and say this is, yeah, because I think historically you can look at what's been happening and as you prepare for your budget. So this is something we think we can, because I don't want to be coming back and reevaluating assets again, that's.
But if we put it out for bid and we didn't like the price, we would, that option would still be available to us, right? We could say, well, then we're going to co-insure this way. This asset is this, or insure this asset up to this value, or increase our deductible or whatever, in order to
Well, we
bring.
don't need to do that if we kind of knew where we were.
Right, yeah. So table for now and go back, give them one more month to respond and then.
Something in writing there to them.
Okay? Any other questions? No? Okay, next issue, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Resolution 2021-04, and it's really asking the CCU to allow us to extend the current contract with Mobile and IPE for the diesel supply for the base load and picking power plant. The Ivory contract for the extension with Mobile. We're thinking that our team is thinking really that implementing the option to extend will allow us to hold the premiums more versus because there has been a sense of increased fixed fees due to the rising cost of delivery services. With the implementation of the new IMO regulations, the IMO regulations are the one that requires ships to come into the harbor with clean fuel. So the estimated service fees based on the quantity of the contract is 6.255, 6.377, and 6.5 million for the 3-year extension of that contract. So there is in the bid there was a set extension amount, and when we look at that, the recommendation is to go ahead and accept that versus trying to get right now in the volatile market that we don't really know that really is impacted a lot by the shipping fee, which is the premium fee. If you look at the last bid we had on the RFOs, low sulfur and everything, high sulfur, the premium fees went up substantially actually. And that was a result of all of those different things. So we have a contract with Mobile that was earlier, and IPE for various plans, and these two typically divide. We release, they're the only two that come with that because it requires delivery services on Guam. So we're looking at that and saying we should just go ahead and extend the contract. It's not the percentage is not unreasonable over the next 3 years based on what we've seen. So that's for your consideration. You want to. That's
John-
our request, and then after that we'll have to. I think we have to petition the PUC on this also.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry.
Yeah. John, what you're basically talking about though is basically the premium portion. Because the actual cost of the fuel goes up and down based on when you order and when you get it, right?
That's correct.
So, okay, so I think, if you've got a good in on the premium and you can kind of control that cost, that's a help. Because you can't control the other one.
Yeah. We've seen over the years, and it's basically the same two that have been competing throughout. No?
Yeah, the gas companies are making that LEAC look real good.
Okay.
So we just
Any
don't feel
other
comfortable
questions?
that way.
Commissioners? Okay.
I just got a-
Sure, go ahead.
How do you
Commissioner
guys
Santos.
calculate the fixed service cost? By one, it's about 11% of premium, so.
The fixed,
Is that
I
a
think,
negotiated rate?
no, I think there's a set rate in the contract. Which one are you talking about?
If you take the, for example, right, it's 19 million is for the fixed service fee cost. Divide that by 170 million, it's about 11%. How did you guys come with, how did you arrive at 11%? Is that a
I think,
administrative fee? What do we get for a fixed service fee?
the fixed service fee, the dollars per gallon, is just up there in the right here. It's fixed,
What
right?
is-
But
what do we
then,
get for paying $19 million to Mobile World for a fixed service fee?
Is that the premium?
they provide the fuel. The total is for the fuel and the fixed premium. The number that I think they're giving you is that. So the premium, like for example, for the fixed service fee is 22 cents a gallon, and that's so that whatever it is, all the premium delivered. Then the other cost is based on the floating
Prevailing
of the
market.
of the price of the diesel. So what's fixed is the premium fee.
The shipping, the insurance.
What are you buying when you pay the premium?
What do you get for the fixed?
Tanker, the delivery to
No,
the
no.
site?
You're paying for every 22 cents per gallon of
Yeah, but what do you want? What do you get for the 22 cents?
No, but what's involved in the 22 cents there?
oh, delivery, everything,
The-
trucking,
Insurance,
Yeah.
the insurance, the shipping.
insurance, everything covered from the time they bring in the fuel also.
So the shipping?
So,
So it's like the LEAC has the,
the premium is what whatever they make all of the fuel.
John, is the fixed service fee the same thing as the premium?
Yeah.
Or is just another way of saying premium?
Just another way of saying premium. Like in
Okay.
the RFOs, the premium is like $16, right?
Yeah.
Here is
So-
22 cents per gallon because we deal with
In
smaller
gallons.
delivery volumes. That's all.
but it also pays for the tanker from
Everything.
Singapore to Guam.
Yep.
The
That's
insurance
in there, the insurance.
and also the
to
delivery.
site.
The
And then the
delivery to the
percentage
site.
is just to give us an indication, and it's really based on an estimated volume that we anticipate may be burned for the year. That's all.
And that's why there's a difference between when you talk about site 1, 3, and 4
Yeah.
and site 2, because they're different locations.
Right, longer,
So
maybe
the-
further away, harder
the
to
difference-
deliver, different
yeah.
things like that.
It's still around 11.
Huh?
Either
It's
way.
still around 11%. I'm just,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, if the price,
It's
it
cost of
varies,
fuel plus 11%.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it varies depending on the volume, on the price of the,
I think our fuel is exempt from the fuel tax. I
Yeah.
think our
I think
fuel is
we do.
exempt.
Yeah, we never,
Our
none
fuel.
of our we're exempt.
So
It'd be another
where
15
does,
cents.
where does Gulf Guam, I'm sorry, where is there 4% charged on this somewhere?
No. No GRT?
No, so I'm talking, so $220 million is free of taxes.
No
You don't pay
GRT, right?
on it, right?
No liquid fuel tax, no GRT.
There's no fuel tax, so that.
Yeah, they don't-
How about GRT?
For GRT, the way it applies is for your tax incentive for any
Okay.
tangible products.
Yeah.
But for services,
So this is a product they're delivering.
my understanding is a product.
Yeah. So there's no
They
tax.
don't get taxed on, for example, in this particular one. Mobile oil Guam is tax-free for $19 million.
For the fuel portion, yes.
Liquid fuel and GRT?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
If it's selling it.
To GPA, the government of Guam.
Sales to Gulf, yeah.
Sales to Guam.
The old idea is you're taxing yourself, right? And we're gonna just have to pass it on.
Yeah.
anyway. So the government.
We pay it one way or the other.
The government's choosing not to tax itself.
Yeah.
I think that's what it means.
Okay.
That's the idea.
So,
Okay.
any other questions?
Nope.
None?
Gotta have the fuel.
John,
Thank you.
move along.
Mr. Chair, 2021-05. Again, this is Rido. John?
Yes. We're putting this is a write-off. We're looking at accounts from year 2020 to 2017. So what we do is all the inactive accounts, we don't delete any histories. So if they're coming in later on, we do the name matches. If they have an account, they have to pay off their old accounts. But this is more of a accounting audit treatment. So we have about from the year 20 to 2017, after all the application of the inactive to any active accounts, we found about $485,000 that we don't have any active customers. So we request, since this is old and is beyond the statute of limitation, we're asking for write-off. As for cost, it doesn't cost anything because every year for our financial statement, according to GAAP, we do an allowance. So this will be for just reducing the accumulated allowance. That's all it does. It's more of a record-keeping accounting thing.
So none of these customers are currently a customer of ours.
Yes, they're not.
They're all gone.
Yeah, and then there are a couple of things that can happen is they've gone through bankruptcy, or the
Okay.
person passed away.
Okay.
So they're not. We have them in the books in the system, but we haven't seen any active accounts relating to that individual.
When you figure
Any
that
questions?
we've spent about $1.6 billion on fuel in those 4 years, the 485 is actually pretty tiny. And that's just for the fuel. If you take the full account, we probably billed 20 million, or 22 billion, and then we're asking to write off.
How many customers is this, John? Can you tell me?
I don't have I
Okay.
had a list.
Can you tell us at Tuesday? I'm
Yes, I can
just
tell you
interested in
exactly
how many customers
how many customers we're looking
are
at.
gone, and
The last time I looked at it was very small amounts, but it's
Yeah.
cumulative.
a lot of customers, right?
Yes.
Small numbers.
balances.
And can you check with GWA? Wasn't GWA writing off a receivable from GPA?
Oh yes, I actually.
Why is that bad debt? Why is GWA saying that's bad debt? That should have been paid a long time ago. Interest, how much interest we charge? $1 million?
Actually, interest in the United States is almost nothing. Actually, they did. Oh yeah.
Not from the GWA Finance Department.
Yes, GW did send me. Telling was nice enough to send me the invoice. The biggest amount was for Fadihan project charge, so I don't know what that was. That's 2013, and some of them are the lab charges, most of them. So I don't know what they are. So I asked Talent to give us supporting documents, so I could, if I need to pay.
You're a
legal
good
payment.
accountant.
Okay.
You don't believe them?
Well, yes.
It's your sister. Sisters never lie to their brothers.
Of course.
It's like 2 predecessors ago.
Yeah, but John and Miguel were here.
We will
John is-
settle our whatever accounts
Commissioner
that we
Talco.
had our
But John, is
differences.
this the first time you're hearing about it?
This is the first time I've actually been seeing this because they're small, like the lab invoices, like $87, $174. So they're small little stuff, and I'm not. And this all says lab testing, so I'm not quite sure because we pay the water bills. So
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what those are.
Well, my concern is that you have one entity saying they're doing whatever they can to collect, and then now you're telling us this is the first time you're ever hearing about it. So who's right?
It could be that it came to my attention that my staff probably seen it and they said we don't have support, like I don't like to pay you. So they probably correspond together, but I haven't got a chance to talk to my staff to because I just got
So can you talk to your staff so that Tuesday you could give us an update, okay?
Yes.
Because we adopted a new finance fee only for sister companies. And it's 500% a day compounded, so
My gosh, this is
I would settle it quickly.
Okay,
Yeah,
2004, 7, 10, 11, 13, 14. My goodness.
That's like the bailout. We could,
the only one who was there
We'll take a look,
consistently
yeah.
was John B.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I did.
John bought it,
Okay,
bought
I'll
all that
check it out.
stuff.
No, we have every intention to pay our debt, so we will
Okay.
take a look. At it.
'Cause
Okay.
you don't want to pay that finance fee, man. You're paying
No,
for
no,
our
we-
next,
we
you're paying
can
for the Agano wastewater treatment plant.
We can negotiate, I think.
Okay. Anything else, commissioners? No? John, go ahead.
Resolution 2021-06, again, this, Mr. Kim will bring it up, is for merchant services. And again, part of this is because it is about 1.3 million a year, and it's also going to require PUC approval for the period of time. So before we go out on bid, John, you wanna go ahead.
On the merchant services, this one? Oh, you didn't put this? Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. So what we did is we 5 years ago we had merchant services with the Bank of Hawaii, and we exercised all the options. Now we had to go through a new bid. So this is a joint bid with
GWA?
GWA and also Solid Waste Management. They asked us if they could tag along because there's such a small volume that they probably get better pricing. Right now, our credit card rate is about 1.1 to 1.2%. That's really very low, and that's partly due to the fact we have utility services with MasterCard. Before it used to be like 2.9, 2.7%, so it's almost less than half of it. But what happened is back in 2017, when we were doing full year, an annual transaction of about 25,000 transactions a year. And currently in 2020, we had close to 339,000 transactions, which is more than 2.6 times the number of transactions has grown. So the popularity of online has definitely increased. And what even made it more online was due to the COVID. So more, since we shut down the inline payments, so more transaction has been online. At the same time, we also, to help us with the cash flow, we opened it up to the customers, and the commercial customers. Before we used to do the MasterCard because the fixed fee of $1.50. We also opened it up for Visa. We still want to do that because it helps us with the cash flow. And later on, we'll talk more about our collections and how bad we are. And closely, almost 97% of our customers are current with us. So there was only about 7%. I mean, it's slightly behind, and probably because they're not paying because we're not disconnected. So we believe even though it costs a little bit more, it helps us with the cash flow. So we were asking to approve the rebid the credit card services.
Okay. Commissioner Mchako?
So John, with the increase in the online purchases, have you looked at what offset in your, payment processing personnel you can
Yes.
look to offset
Yes.
those increasing costs so you can get back to, basically neutral or even cost savings?
Yes, that was the whole strategy at first. What we did, we had number of cashiers. I think we have like close to 16 cashiers. So we have a cashiers in Hulali and a Fidian. What we thought was if we increase more activities in the online, mobile application, the websites, and also IVR where people call in. So we thought we would reduce the number of heads. So we did reduce the number of heads. So we have like 2 staff working accounting, working on, because we do over almost 1,000 DSM checks. So we have staff working at DSM, check processing. We also we do more billing assurance. So we have 1 more staff there. So we reallocating the labor force from the cashiers there. The other thing that kind of happened that we couldn't reduce more was because due to COVID, we had to man 2 containers, drive-throughs. So we could have reduced the forces more, but we figured that a certain portion of our customers or more cash customers, and they had to probably want to come in and make. So because of these containers, we had to we can't shrink the cash any further.
How many did you reduce it into?
We have about 13.
Okay. Well, that's not going to overcome these fees, right?
No, it's not going to overcome this fees, but having this credit card transactions help us collect. Before it was like 30 days receivable, days outstanding. It does help with the cash flow coming in. Even during the pandemic, cash is like coming in, which just help us with the operation. The other thing we thought is if an account goes bad, let's say like $20,000 goes bad, previously in the national collection, once a bad account goes bad, only 8% can be collected. So sending 1% collect saves you, in the long run, saves you more money, even though it's a little fee.
So how did you get Guam Solid Waste involved?
They actually asked Tallink first.
Yeah.
Tallink first said she was GPS doing the bid, so they asked us, and we said for us to tag along. They had to. So they agreed with the package that is in the board book. So they have to sign up and they also have to be in our evaluation, like the way GW has to sign up on the bid and also be in our evaluation.
Okay, but I just want to make sure, are we make sure that we're legally, we're separate entities though? see?
Yes.
GWA is,
Yeah, so no, the CCU will obviously only approve water and power.
okay,
It's up to their board to approve.
And the money's not commingled, it's
No.
because they're
No.
getting their own merchant, they get their own
They have
merchant.
their own
Yeah,
merchant
yes, yeah.
number, they do have
Okay,
their own
okay.
number.
Yeah, everything was.
We're just helping them out because they're really too small
To get the benefit.
I don't think they have.
well, I would imagine that if you're helping them because without them tagging along with you, their merchant fee is going to be really sky high.
Oh, they'll be at the 2.9%.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they have a very tight budget, so.
Well, no, listen, this is helping all the ratepayers pay their bills so that, that's good. But I just want to make sure we're separate.
Definition of utility.
Okay.
Utility rate. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Which you negotiated way back, I remember.
Yes, so Guam Solid Waste will fall under utilities. So if they
Okay.
want to obtain utility rate, they can. But for them, because of their monthly fees of like $30, it might be cheaper just to go straight rate for them. But even that, if our credit card fee is only 1.1%, then
$3 or 30 cents.
versus 2.9, they still save money.
Okay. Any other questions, Commissioner Sanchez?
Yeah, just minor wordsmithing on the resolved, if we're gonna assist GW,
Guam Solid Waste.
there needs to be a reference to that you guys are authorized to issue an RFP for GPA, GWA, and however you want to word it, Graham, that we're saying it's okay that the bid includes GSWA.
Do you take a GSWA payment downstairs?
No. You don't take any GW,
Currently, we're not.
Why not?
no. I don't know.
Commingling cash.
No,
Yeah.
no. In a electronic transaction, why would that be an issue?
I mean, as long as the money goes into their separate account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't want their money in our account, or when Mrs. Cruz pays pays with one card and doesn't pay one of the authorities their full
I-
bill.
I-
We don't want to sort that out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, here's another, I see it as a business opportunity. Is what happens when you want to do the billing for them? We're almost a mutual customer. I bet if you tried to cross the database and see how many GSWA customers are GPA / I would venture to say better than 8%. If you can run that database and you can tell me that there's a value proposition on the business case side, why not do their billing?
We can take a look at it. This is the first real step towards that direction because they ask us and are open to it. But you're correct,
The reason why I'm
economies
bringing
of
that up,
scale.
They're going to sock it to us in a rate increase to make up losses for them.
Guam Solid Waste, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And as a ratepayer,
We can help a ratepayer to.
The billing program can take several. And
It's something,
Yes, you just have to program.
Yeah, I think part of it though, if you recall that all the commercial accounts, right? The disconnect is not on the residential side, it's on the commercial side, right? Because the commercial accounts are, DSWA only bills the trash haul, the 9 trash haulers. The commercial accounts are billed by the trash haulers, right? So the interface is going to be on the residential side. Yeah, one can and, one.
well, you can look at it, Graham?
Yeah. At this point, this is just a request for shared merchant service.
Yeah, just to get their rate low.
We could do research on it and get. Yes. I assume that most of them will be in our database.
Well, I would suggest, well, I would think that their lower amounts, they have lower customer counts than we do, because they have still a lot of people who are not signed up for cash collection at the residential side. Yeah, whatever reason.
That's true too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moral interest will have power, they may not have.
Whoa, trash. Yeah, whatever. But
Yes,
it's, you can look at it.
Yep.
You can
It's, we'll
certainly
take a
something to
look.
look at.
Yeah, it's also what they want to see, how much control they want to do. So we probably could reach out to them, see what they envision.
And we're only doing their billing. They're responsible to receive the payment, put it in their account, and manage their own money. We don't want to receive their cash and then have to say, this is GPA's money, this is the
Solid waste.
GSWA.
Yes.
If I understand Commissioner Santos's idea, we'll help them with the billing because we know how to crank out billing. But Mr. Sanchez writes a check to GSWA or uses his credit card. All that cash flow goes directly to GSWA. It doesn't interface with our cash. Because I get worried about, revenue bond pledges are revenue.
Yeah.
And if Mrs. Cruz pays her trash bill and her power bill, what we don't want is that, because if she underpays one of them,
Yes.
who are we not paying, right? And then
Yes.
it's now we've created our own headache too, right? Like, and now Mrs. Cruz didn't pay, so what do we do?
Okay, we'll look at it. Okay, any further questions on this resolution? John, you have one more, right?
Two more,
Where's that?
Mr.
Two more.
Chair.
I'm sorry.
And again, I've been delegating a lot to John tonight. The next one is 2012 bond refunding. Yeah,
Oh, wait, that's under issue for discussion.
that's right. I
Don't
think-
you have, what about
pandemic
the
pay policy.
the pandemic pay policy?
I'm
Do you
sorry.
want to say anything about that? We kind of discussed that with
Yeah, I
GWA,
believe
didn't
you
we?
discussed in the GW.
Mutual one, right?
Just
Yeah.
the joint resolution, if you,
Yep.
commissioners, do we need to go through that or no?
We're good, right? If it's the same one as GWA. did.
I mean, I'm just asking. Commissioner Mchalko.
So just only in the sense that we wanted to define what was discussed in the GWA meeting, that we wanted to define the time frame that is applicable to this pandemic pay, right? So what is not in the resolution is that time frame that you're recognizing,
March to May. March to May.
Well, whatever it is.
whatever that time period was.
We didn't tell
Just be
you.
very specific about it.
Yeah, so you need to work on updating this portion for GPA, okay? That's right, thank you, I remember that.
But the other thing was too, is that we really do need to resolve it, what's going to be applicable. We're still a little confused as to why the utilities chose different paths on applying it. So we need to get a consistent policy amongst both utilities, so maybe it's
Going
not,
forward,
yeah, maybe it's not in this resolution,
but in
but
the future.
we need to resolve it within the next couple of meetings as how we're going to interpret it and apply it for both utilities going forward.
So we're ratifying what you did, but we're asking that the two of you get together and say, so what is your policy? I think it was even in the context of reviewing a number of our personnel policies, so that we can, what do you as management want that policy to be? Then there's a process for us to approve it, AAA.
Yeah, then you got AAA and everything.
Right, and then it flows through, but the commission very
Wants to
clear that
clarify it.
we want to start clarifying. We may begin to amend our some of our rules and regs, because some we just adopted from DOA, and we know that if we want, we can rewrite our own. And what would that be? But this policy specifically needs to be adopted.
Right, and the important thing is.
This is the way we're going to
So
do it.
we'll work out
important
on
thing is-
the process, including the vetting of what it's gonna be. I mean, because, we need to involve some other, personnel people here. So, but we can try to set up a timeline so we can get this done as quickly as possible and bring that to the commission, next month, so then we can proceed to, because you are correct, we really don't care to have this situation occur again, going further for whatever type of emergency, no?
Yeah, the key is that we want consistency in the treatment from both utilities.
I agree. Thank
Managing
you.
expectations.
And
So people know what the deal is.
what the deal is. Okay?
Okay, Mr. Chair, that's
Okay,
the
you wanted to go down to the issues for discussion?
Yes,
No GM report?
Well, no, I think you wanted to do the bond refinancing, disconnection
discussions
plan.
and
Oh,
then-
sorry, do that first? Okay.
Do that first. Are you going to do the bond refinancing or the disconnection?
I do, can I, before we move on though,
Commissioner.
in regards to the joint pandemic resolution, is there anything on the books for GPA that's consistent with what GPA had on there regarding the overtime policy between exempt and non-exempt, in which GWA adopted a policy that would allow exempt employees to incur overtime ubiquitously, not just in certain situations, but basically for anything? Does GPA have a similar type of policy? And if so, is there any reason why we're not following GWA's lead and rolling that back and making sure that these exempt employees are not?
paid overtime?
I think this had to do also with the Fair Labor Standards Act, right?
Well, I think it was a resolution that was adopted that allowed for exempt employees to receive overtime. Typically, right, non-exempt and exempt have different applications of overtime.
Should have.
I think
Are we
that
aware
was
of-
the result on the,
I think that was a resolution specific to.
GWA?
As I understand
Yes.
it, Kelly, was, they had a policy in 2010, an old policy, and so it needed to be updated based on the changes to the fair labor.
Right.
That was why they brought it back to you. I
And
don't believe, from our understanding, that we had such a policy, and so we had, basically, the law says you're exempt. Follow what the law is, and if it changes, then you.
All that too.
Yeah, and basically, and it also applies to the amount of money that you make. You can't label everybody's manager until you're exempt. That gets you in trouble with properly. So, but there are also things as to the amount of money that you make, and obviously that changes over time.
Managing people, can you hire?
So on the GPA side, we never passed a policy, so we just looked at it as a law changes, we follow the law.
So you follow FSLA then?
Right,
That's great.
and so it was just one that Fireworks is just no policy to bring it up.
Okay.
That's why there was a difference.
Well, I would suggest that you get together with GWA and, because again, I'm going to stress that we should be consistent in our policies for both companies. You know, you don't want your employees saying, okay, how come they're doing this? How come we're doing that? I think you need to sit down with GWA and go through this, and we need a consistent, I don't know, that's my thought.
I thought, Mr. Chairman, we had kind of
Yeah.
made a decision that that's got to be someone's project. Come back to us before the end of the fiscal year
Yeah. Oh,
to
that's-
present to us. So October 1st going forward, we should be whole.
yeah. I think we'll make that the general manager's task.
So, because at them, right?
That was at the last work session.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that a Waterworks work session?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's what.
I only got just the tail end of some discussion
Yeah.
as to policy.
so,
We can certainly.
so certainly get together with them, brainstorm, and come back to us with some ideas at the Tuesday night meeting.
I mean, there's got to be certain policies that stick out that we need to pay attention to them, so we're not caught like what happened to us in this one.
Okay. Okay, John, going down to,
Bond,
Your bond refinancing.
2012
ahead.
bond refunding. And again, I'd just like to start out, Mr. Chair, that moving forward, we're looking ahead towards the 2020, we were looking at 2022, now we're looking at the 2023, most likely 2024 period. And we're looking at the new power plant coming on the line to reduce costs, no? The renewables coming on the line. Another part of the equation so that we can bring forward a package at the end of that period, which reduces total cost to the consumers, was looking at the refunding of the 2012 bond. And that's in the, the water scenario. So again, the Barclays bought this to us the last time as a potential for, it's kind of really, they're going to be hedging for on the interest rate, considering that inflation may be rising and all of that, which I'm not quite sure of all of that, but triggers higher interest rates for the bonds. So again, we asked for different scenarios. We looked at one in particular here that we're looking at the percent. And again, we just want some discussion on it because the process was going to have to be done sometime around by 2022 when we could hold the bonds and refinance. Opportunity came up, so we still have work to do because we need your approval, we need PUC approval, and then we also need legislative approval. So therefore, John, you want to take?
Thank you. So Barclay came us and they said recently the interest rate has significantly dropped and it's probably the lowest we have ever seen. This got, and the top graph is historical. Back in 2000, it was about 6%. It's been going up. But in year 2020, in the middle, and now it's right now currently. I just checked today. It's about 2.44% on the bond. So it's the lowest there has been. So right now, currently on the 2012 bonds, we have about a balance of $305 million. By October 2022, our balance is going to be about 265. So what they're asking is to do advance refunding for 265, the principal amount. So this will have, what they said is we could do a tax exempt refunding. So what they do, they say they'll sort of like a short on a treasury bond. As they're doing, it's more like a hedging kind of deal. So what they also said is that all the risk is borne by Barclays. So they'll give us a agreement to purchase the bonds, bond agreement. What would the cost be? They're looking at, because they're buying it in advance, there's a little cost about 5 basis points. When you say 5 basis points, like 0.05.
That's 260 million.
Yes. Yeah, but only for 12 months.
And walk us through the 5 basis points per month. So that's, after 12 months, that's 60 basis.
Yeah, and then I asked Sean about that in Barclays. Is that a cost they absorb? I mean, that we have to pay them. It says cost for the market. So they don't, that's not payment to them. It's to pay the cost to have the market buy the bonds. So if the
In
premium,
2022.
yes. So
Right now, Barclays is going to step in, pay off this bond, loan us.
yeah, it's still probably some kind of hedging kind of
Yeah, we're hedging on the interest rate.
Yes, pretty much, yes. So that's the cost to do that. So that, because you have to pay the bond payer a premium to buy it early.
Pay them
So
early,
the
yeah.
one incentive when they do it, if
There's
not-
something,
Yes. for-
some of their earnings they would have made by waiting another year before
Yes.
being paid off.
Yes.
Given some.
What's in it for the ratepayers?
So for the ratepayers, if we do that, so there's a couple of scenarios we did. So we did one scenario where here, what we want to do is flatline all the aggregate debts and close to $32.7 million. That's including interest and principal per annum. So when we do that, our savings is about net present value savings, it's about $14 million. So we do get positive savings. So since the net present value savings percentage is about 4.91%, and the all-in true interest cost is about 3.35. If you look at, I looked at a presentation we did back in 2017 bond refunding. All-in true interest cost was 4.22. So there is a significant drop in interest.
And your cash flow changed by 15 million.
Yes, and also we, on the cash flow wise, we save about $15 million in payments in debt service.
Per year.
Go ahead, Commissioner
So in our
Sanchez.
strategy with, this was all part of our strategy with the new plan.
Yes, that's
That
correct.
one piece of the puzzle was by refinancing some of our earlier debt with lower costs. That savings, which right now is 15 million, under this scenario is 15 million a year, helps us reduce the increase on our base rate that would be required to pay for the new gen. Right?
Yes, that's correct.
The new gen saves us a lot of money on fuel on the LEAC.
Yes.
But it costs us, we're buying a more fuel efficient generator, but that's fixed cost, that's base rate. That goes up, but LEAC goes down more, right?
Yes.
And in the projection, so this has always been part of our financing strategy, was to refi.
Yes.
How does when you did this scenario before,
Yes.
what was your expected cash flow savings when we were all approving the gen? And how does it compare to this setup here where it's 15 million?
Yes. So when we first did the scenarios, what Barclay did is they had rated $20 million savings on the waterfall, but there was no principal payments. So, but more stepped up principal payment in the later years, the last 10 years. So what we did is say, rather than doing that, can we make it just flat line, make it easier? When we did that was additional $5 million principal payment. So if you
Per year.
per year. So if we did that, rather than getting $20 million, we get $15 million savings.
Versus, I think it was
And we would
19.
have increased in the later years.
Yes.
More than 5 million, I assume?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
okay.
we said, so the savings, so if you do it this flat line, you get way better savings. So right now we get present value savings of 14. If you did principal on interest only and principal later on, the savings will only be about $7 million.
Net present.
Net present value.
And the threshold is 2% for, once you meet 2% net savings, you're eligible for a refi. That's been the standard law.
That's been the normal standard.
PUC and CCU policy, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so it fits into the scenario. This is one more piece of the puzzle, where this will help us pay for the new generator and and reduce our cost of the new generator
Yes.
by reducing our interest. We're going to take our interest savings by this proposed refi
Yes.
and apply it to the cost of the new generator, thereby reducing the cost of the new generator. We had originally thought we might save, depending on how you structured the financing, 20 million a year. With this financing, it's coming in at 15 million a year, and the 20 million a year was in the early years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In the later, and I remember this, in the later years, the base rate then gets squeezed upwards because of that kind of financing. And that's the existing financing they have, right?
Yes, yes.
Right, so this is we've done a lot of these deals. This is a timing issue. When do you want the savings?
Yes.
Right? And the original scenario said we want the savings definitely in the beginning, but we paid for that savings later, right? So we save 20 early, but then we save less money much later, and base rate creeps up. This allows us to flatline and still save, and that base rate is held at that number for a much longer period of time and doesn't grow at the end, but, and we're just, and like all loans, the sooner you pay principal, the better.
Yes,
right? I mean,
yes.
eventually your costs go down, right?
Yes.
So that's basically what this is. The legislation is because of our borrowing cap. We were only allowed to borrow so much.
Because I believe the regulation is different, like Guam Waterworks has a different regulation, so we think that you're refunding. We don't have that law, so every time we do any refunding or new loan, we do have to get registered.
And okay, so if we approve, then there would be draft legislation created by management council, whoever.
Yes,
Yes. Stan Dirks and that group, the art group would help create that.
yes.
And we'd have to think about which of our 15 friends would introduce the bill.
Oh, we only need 8.
I know we have 7. At least
You have
7.
8. Actually,
Then we have
9.
8.
You have 9.
So we have 15 candidates to introduce the bill, and 14 are really good candidates to introduce the bill.
I mean, in the Barclays discussion, are they trying to tie this to the GovCon hot bond? What are they telling you guys?
They were thinking, it's more of us timing when we can do it. So one timeline, we were predicting hopefully around July of this year. But that was just arbitrary putting in there.
But we're not tight. I mean, this is our own financing.
This is our
I
own
know,
money.
I think what was happening when the whole discussion was happening was the telling the Guam story again, right? That we've all been through that, right? So, but that discussion was, and then obviously Barclays told the folks down at ALU that there's an opportunity also for GPA to look at this stuff.
And the opportunity is interest rates are,
Right.
Unlike fuel, because people say, why don't we hedge fuel? And that's a much
tried that
riskier, and we've tried it before. That's much riskier, right? I haven't read anything that says interest rates are going to go even lower. I mean, this is historic.
I guess the question is,
So do you want to lock it in?
what are we going to lose for waiting till July? Other than hedging interest rate.
Yeah.
It's your risk on it.
Yeah. For our risk is that the insurance might go up by July of next year. That's the risk we have.
Yeah, see, we can't go to market till next July
No,
under the current bond, whereas we can do this deal.
Yeah, I mean, the part that always got my interest was Barclays to say we're good for 250 million on their paper.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a credit line of $250 million.
Yes, it is. Yes.
That speaks well for this agency. If someone wants to write you a check on your name only,
And
sir,
write it early.
that's a pretty good indication how solid you are. Can't say that for GovGuam, but you can say it for
Oh,
CPA.
but they're good, 600.
Well, that's what I mean. That's somebody else's money. Anyways, okay. I mean, I guess for us.
So this, just for clarity, this is not up for this Tuesday night meeting?
No.
You're
this
still
is-
working on this?
Yeah,
This
so
is-
we would, once, if you're
This is
okay
a
with it,
briefing.
right, we'll.
Okay with the concept?
Yes.
Yeah, this
We
is
can
all.
also prepare
There's no decision.
All the stuff.
all the
Yeah.
stuff and
The
then bring it.
legislation, because we're going to have to go down to ask the
I
legislature.
wanted to make sure you get your thoughts, I guess, before we proceed
Sure.
again.
And one of the things we would like to see is the base rate savings that are created by refinancing it this way now versus waiting or not refinancing at all. Because I think the story that everyone needs to hear is if we don't refinance at all, the base rate impact is much bigger, right? So one, you want to refi, and it's a timing issue, and it's a judgment call. And if you think interest rates are going to go any lower, then you wait. But how much lower? The risk is it could go back up.
Okay,
It's highly likely.
okay,
So we'll see this in the next month or so coming
Yeah.
up.
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
John B., you have that one other issue for discussion.
one more, Mr. Chair, should be
Yes.
very quick, and then I can get to my GM report, no?
Okay.
This connection, we wanted to bring before you demographics and stuff as to, what does it look like, and
Who this
because
people
we're
are.
going to do we've worked very hard since the very beginning to allow people, to allow our customers having difficulty over this period of time, no? So we're here now at the point where, okay, we're rolling out of this pandemic, if you will. rolling out, if you will. So therefore, the question is, how do we, it doesn't mean that if they roll out tomorrow, they can afford to pay everything, right? So therefore, we wanted to see what is the, damage, and maybe from there, what options can we provide. So here's the total, about, there's, like John mentioned earlier, 93% of our customers were current, actually, it's a little more, but about a little less than 7%, about 3,400 that had difficulty paying or wasn't even paying at all in some cases. That's a total receivable of 5.3, but that includes the third 0 to 30 days. So the amount greater than 30 days is 4.6 million. It's actually, it's not too bad considering this is everyone, including commercial, no? And again, here's the breakdown here. Commercial, greater than 30 days, 1.7, residential, 2.3 million, and that's the postpaid and then the prepaid, no?
Okay.
So therefore, again, here's the breakdown of what they owe. Again, anywhere from 0 to 1,000 up to 25 to 100,000, or actually greater than 100,000 for commercial. The prepaids, a lot of it is, as you can see here, the green is in the 0 to 1,000 range, but also this gray portion, which is 1 to 2,000. Residential postpaid, again here, the green is the, sorry, I'm having difficulty, the 1 to 1,000 to 2,000 range. But when you look at the amount of that, what they owe today compared to what their monthly bill is, then if you were to say disconnect, you have to pay within 3 months, then we have to pay several times what their monthly bills are, no? So we look at it a little more differently and say, okay, if I did a 1-year payment plan, an automatic payment plan, how much is the addition to their regular monthly bill? Because when we roll out the disconnection, we want them to minimum pay, of course, pay their regular, and then some in recovery. And so when we did that, we're still looking at somewhere around a 50% increase, from their bill. A 2-year brings you maybe somewhere around a 25% off their bills. So again, we're still looking at this, but we're looking at maybe again some tiered plan, automatic 12-month extension, like 12-month repayment plan for those that don't have payment plan, or with payment plans but allows them, that we allow them to pay, but they must be current. A tiered payment plan is with the 12, and then maybe after that period of time, restructure their DIM so that we can recover it. But before going up too high in the percentage of their regular bill. And again, there's other things like customized plan. Again, this is what we're trying to do. We were looking at July 1st to begin, and I know, Mr. Chair, I know you're going to say it. Make sure you and GWA come in here on the same.
This is different.
On the same day. So again, by Tuesday we will, I'll talk with Miguel. We'll take a look at.
Yours is May. Yours
Yeah.
is May, John. You
This
have
is
different
May, and I was
customers,
thinking, July. But again, we don't. When we start reconnection, we want to smoothly go into it, not have to create a whole bunch of issue even for ourselves. No, we have to just start disconnecting people and so on. So I can recall one particular customer when we first came in here as a CCU. The CCU we came in 2003. And all the utility $50 million. And how do we get that customer to pay every cent back to us? We gave them a longer term plan and a consistent policy that you must pay your bill and this much per month, and that was including interest, no? So we're kind of maybe looking at this plan, so maybe we can roll it out. The 4 or 5 million, we can, by as long as we're recovering it, we're fine with our finances to be able to have that recovery and stuff. So that's kind of what we're looking at, proposing for. We'll have some more discussions with. We've been having some discussions with GWA. We'll have some more discussions on it, but this is kind of out of the press of our demographics, trying to understand so that we can make it a more seamless, if possible, repayment, disconnection plan.
Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Chaco.
So JP, if I understand it correctly, then I'm not sure what the final decision is, and other than there's going to be no disconnections until July?
That's our date that we're proposing right now. I know GWA, from what I understand, is proposing May 15.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, whatever that date is.
Can we work together to just, once again, where it's like we're not talking, we're right, we should be on the same sheet of music with the dates.
No,
But I mean, that's what these meetings are for, right? So before next Tuesday, we could just get together and just come up with something consistent so the customers aren't confused.
You can have the
That's
same start date for disconnection. Your payment plan, because
Can be different.
the water bill is a
Could be
lot
different,
cheaper
right?
than
Yeah.
the power bill, maybe
Yeah.
some flexibility there.
That's
right?
that's what we're. And I'm sorry, we were doing. I'm sorry, we were doing all of this, and trying to keep up, but then the meetings creep up on us. So
Yeah, no issue.
But I agree. We will look at it.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you. And then I've heard some positive exchanges in the media where we have started to reach out to those assistance programs where you can get rental assistance, utility assistance, and I heard some of the governor's representatives, those entities, those agencies refer to our outreach already, and which is great, and we want to direct people. So I'd just be curious to see how are we doing in getting money from ratepayers through those programs. Right?
Yeah, we're working real hard, and I can actually explain that a little bit. But we've been trying to get, even under this new. But there's and I'm informed also through the American Public Power, that they have put a substantial amount of dollars into even LEHAC process. No? So between this and the LEHAC, we want to continue to try to do that. And again, whatever we can get an assistance, we just help to offset their bills, and making it through. But Chris, you want to go ahead and explain what we've done so far?
Thank you. We were working with the Department of Administration on the ERA, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. So they're administering that program. So when we met together, it was GWA, GPA, and also Guam Solid Waste. And when we met with them, we asked them if we could help make it an easy process for all of our ratepayers. And so we came up with the idea to put together a consent form for our customers to sign when they ask for it to be pre-qualified. So they don't have to come in or try to find their bills. GPA will give it directly to DOA. DOA will be able to see the accounting. And so DOA really loved that idea. So we have we made copies, we put it at the mayor's offices, we put it at Treasurer Guam, DOA, we have it on our website. They have an electronic copy as well. So it's going well. I think the last time we spoke with DOA, they have about 1,200 applications, and they've processed, at that time, right, so it was a few days ago, they've processed under 300, and about half of them have been pre-qualified. So it's of course a big process. And then second, although there is a federal LEHEAP program, unfortunately Guam does not, the funds from the LEHEAP program doesn't go to the utility ratepayers specifically. So it's used for another program. However, there is legislation. Senator Moylan reached out to us, and he asked us if we could support legislation that would create, I believe it's called a Guam Energy Assistance Program. And so that money would be going directly to the ratepayers.
So we've got 3,000 residential, we got 3,000 accounts on the
That are
GPA side.
over 30 days.
I'm not sure on the GWA side, and they've got 1,200 so far on their side. So hopefully between us talking to them and them hearing, tell them, hey, our number is about 3,000 of power. I forget what it is of water. And then let's get that word out collectively saying, hey, folks, there's a program that can help you. Because we are starting disconnections eventually in the next 60, 90, 120 days, whenever that final decision.
Commissioner, we also did an outreach, so we did 2 surveys. Well, one we did for past due customers, and in that outreach, we did point out that there is an emergency rental assistance program, and we asked our customers if they knew about it. If they did, would they apply? If they don't know about it, we gave them the information.
Good.
And in that outreach, we share that with Senator Commissioners, the survey they just recently did, and really is about people that are behind on their payment. 90% of them, wanted a longer, would agree to an automatic pay plan, no? And total, so that, and when we're talking about, so it was fairly good, and most of them were like 6 months to a year, I believe, in that.
So
in
you're
that
currently
time.
granting payment plans between 6 and 12 months, depending on
That's
the
right, and
case
we
by
were
case.
wanted to do an automatic 1 year, just across the board on this, because the numbers are high, and I try to look at it in percentage of the bill, and so 50% max is really a big number already.
But you hope they use their EIP money,
Yeah,
their...
and if that comes in, then we can take that off and readjust the balance. It makes it still easier for
I mean, the
them.
burden
to
is
do.
still on the ratepayer to...
Yep. As long as we get paid, we're trying to get paid at the end. Within
I
a
think
reasonable
I think
period.
what Commissioner Sanchez is hinting at, and I agree with him, is that basically our ratepayers are going to get a lot of money, or some money, and we're hoping that they take advantage of that and pay their bill, rather than other things.
Help us help you. And
Help us help you.
Help yourself. And help
Uh,
yourself.
Help yourself, because I think the message that has to go out is the bill's not going to go away. It's going to stay there. So
We're going to start disconnecting.
and we're going to start this. But if you receive money that you weren't anticipating, and that you can pay your rent first, you can buy your food. We get all of that, but you have some money, throw it our way and get out of get out of the hole and join this other program. Go wherever you can. I think we're doing a good job in trying to tell our ratepayers we're here for you. There are all these programs. Please take advantage of them. Help us help you so that you have a smaller headache, or maybe no headache.
I was just wondering, can for these 3,500 people, can we put another reminder on their bill or something? Just say, hey, don't forget. Because, we know 3,500 people specifically are going to need some help. Right?
Yeah.
And
I
maybe
agree.
a tickler like, don't forget this program, don't forget that program. Just, how it is with marketing. You just got to keep throwing it out there. And when they see that bill, they're going to see that arrears. And if we can repeat Tracy's speech on those bills.
Our customer service manager is actually sending letters.
Good, perfect, good, even better. Okay,
But even a generic one, right? Because maybe I'm not behind now, but I get behind for whatever reason.
But it won't be in the bill.
To the affected.
okay, whatever. Okay, John, the GM report, 5 minutes. No,
Okay,
I'm
Mr.
just-
Chair, very quick. Again, we do still have enough capacity, although Towers number 2 is down for overhaul until the 27th, I think next week, no?
Okay,
Sales starting to creep up now here, as you can see, and even demand was starting to creep up. So again,
Is that weather related or, because we know it's gotten warmer too.
I think just more and more coming back.
Businesses are opening up.
our drop of 10% has really was kind of the bottom line for us, and that was people just cutting back in the beginning. But then I think all of this program, including DSM and all of that, is starting to right size that. So no matter really what you do, this is your minimum needs, no? So therefore, by doing that, at least then now we can make it work for them. But no, I think it has to come back, and it's good for us too, because financially we know we can count on that revenue, no? Sales profile, again, as you can see here, again, this is the early part of the pandemic. Remember, this was normal here, and then this is when the pandemic hit. So now we're crossing against even the normal part of the year of the last fiscal year. Lest we forget, really, here are the average cost of power over the past from 2019, 2021. Here's where we were in 19, in the 25 cents a kilowatt hour average. Then in the pandemic, right, we went from the 25 all the way down here to about 18 cents or so a kilo. And again, we've held that all this period of time, and here we are, we're still around the 18 to less than 19 cents a kilowatt hour. So again, bills today are still, one of the lowest even over the past 3 years. This is the average cost of the, for energy. Next, NEM metering. Again, here in February, 8 units installed. So again, that's about the number, 6 to 8 per month. Next, oil. Unfortunately, the slope is still up. It's kind of settled around the 65 for WTI or similar, right? It's kind of holding right now. But again, that was the bad news. Next, DSM, we still have this amount of funding, 900,000, but again, we're getting 3 million a year from the LEAC, no? And then we will adjust our needs based on that. In terms of checks, they've been rolling out, completed pending, so we're getting better at rolling out the number of DSM checks for rebates. No?
Commissioner Mtiaka,
And JB, has there been any campaign to roll it out to commercial customers? I know we discussed that.
I think
but
we're going to be there pretty soon, if not already. I'll make a report to you by Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'll find out where we are.
I think it was commercial and nonprofit.
Because we have several types of
that they were trying to.
several types of programs that were supposed to roll out.
Yeah.
But our first step was trying to just recover from the backlog that we had in the pandemic. And I know there was some concern about can we get our stuff approved. Well, some of that has already been happening and stuff. So, but I'll get a summary for you by Tuesday. Okay, the PD 8 and 9 conversion was approved by the PUC. The ECA amendment was approved by the PUC in the last meeting. The only docket that's there before the PUC now, if I'm correct, is the battery and the battery cost. So public hearings are being held in April for those, and that's again where we really. As you can see, the new ESS has straightened the curve more, but it's still, so keep on adding more battery, solar PVs with all batteries, just going to degrade the benefit of what we've been doing.
Yeah, John, I think you need to specify that what's before the PUC is the point that that they are working on is if going forward you must put a battery in. If you choose not to put a battery in, you have to pay us to be your battery. That allows him then at some future time to. Okay, go ahead. Ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was a related question.
I just want to make sure he understands that.
So, I'm sorry, the GPA and the CCU, we have adopted the policy, and we're waiting for PUC approval, that all new solar customers attaching to our system have to have a battery, right? That we've made the call here, and now that requires PUC okay, because it has a cost
Well,
impact, or?
No,
I think the PUC okay is because we attach a rate, not a rate, but an
An
option.
option.
The option was either put on battery, okay, no problem, we only want to, or
If you don't put in a
pay in to us so that we can use that to
Be your battery.
be your battery and okay, keep the system improve and getting better instead of keep on going down, see?
But where are we on the, how does that interface with our desire to change the net metering reimbursement? Because in effect, we are their battery, except that we're a free battery for existing NEM customers. We now are willing to be a paid battery provider for new customers, and we are, if you don't provide your own, and we're requiring you to, or we require you to put in your own. I mean, that's a good change, and that's a
Okay.
significant change. But I know simultaneously, we have been debating, what to do with NEM.
okay.
That's correct.
John, you need to explain that you have the operational decision to make about requiring batteries, and you've already made that decision.
I made that decision
explain.
with the ESS coming on. We're adjusting it to make sure that we get the most benefit to the customers. There's been, remember, this thing was even put in before even renewables. We were doing this moving forward. So I'm saying, okay, anything coming in now, it's got to have battery. That's a technical decision. I don't want to degrade the system and make it any worse, no? But we're moving forward now with the potential rates, so hopefully
The
that will
PUC has come up.
So the PUC has to approve the rate, but not the technical.
No, not the technical, but I
Technical
think,
is really,
Yeah.
in my opinion, my decision. No? And, the second one is you're talking about the net metering. We
avoid the cost.
petition so that the net metering credit really goes from a full credit to an
Less than
avoided
full.
voice credit in a period of over 5 months. Of course, the PUC said, well, we want to wait until we get to 26,000 kilowatts, which is 10% of the system peak. Well, we're there. No?
Yep.
If you look, it's 26. They also wanted us to do some studies on distributed, which we are doing. I don't think it'll be done until the summer or whatever, but we want to really go forward and take a look at that because that is only the main issue of really whether people can bring in more solar or whatever. If the economics is right based on really what it cost us to be offset, then that's great. You do it. But the problem now is that the NEM is full credit and it's being subsidized by the non-net meter customer. And right now, that subsidy is about 4.7 million.
About 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Yeah.
If you added, that's why we were so against DOE and all of those things, that would have added another 10 million. So here we are, we're trying to save 15 million from bond refinancing, but then we're giving away 15 million to net metering. So how are we going to take care of the rest of the customers?
Yeah.
Now, Hawaii itself has stopped net metering since 2015.
The full rate.
Huh?
The full rate for
The
net
full
metering.
rate. They substituted net metering to an avoided cost rate.
Right.
So customers can still put in,
They're just getting reimbursed less.
reimburse less, but again, if the economics work for them, and it could be, it just takes them a little longer to recover. We still work that they own the system. So that's all. If we can resolve that, and we work real hard with the PUC over the next several months here, then that will actually resolve a lot of the concerns that we have
So
moving
is your
forward.
expectation that maybe this summer we would have a strategy and a proposed revised NEM policy once we complete this further analytics, the studies that we're
I
doing?
expect that we will begin again further work with the PUC towards that.
Because even the chairman of the PUC noted that, they just approved a contract for 9 to 11 cents a kilowatt hour with battery for utility scale solar. And he said the right thing. He said, why would GPA ratepayers pay 21 cents to Simon's house when they can make it out in Manila for 11 cents? Why would anybody pay 21 when you can pay 11? And how is that fair to the non-NEM ratepayers who either by choice or because of the design of their living structure or business structure, our solar farms are the only solar they're going to get that is reasonably priced, can meet their load, right? All the solar farms that we're building, and once the NG gets resolved, there's another solar farm that's coming, and we're making solar energy at half the price of what we're paying NEM customers now. And you know, some of the early analysis is if you used your own money, you got your money back with full NEM in 5 to 7 years, which means the ratepayers are going to pay for your system 5 times in 25 years. You know, God, somebody buy my house 5 times in 25 years, right? I mean, how is that fair? So even if you slow it down and you only get your system paid for twice in 25 years, or even 1.5 times, you're getting your money back. You know, and which is the goal. We're paying you for the energy, but we're not going to pay you for the energy you create at a higher price than the energy we can create on our own with utility scale. That doesn't make sense. I'm sure if we went to all our ratepayers and say, hey, we make it for 11, should we pay 21? We know what they would say. They say crazy. And the savings go to the ratepayers. This is all LEAC savings. This is direct benefit to them. So, you know, I look forward to us to expand. Now, we've got the battery coming. We've got now no solar without batteries, right? Ours or someone else. We're just determining what the rate, we're on our way, but I'd love to see us resolve, you know, what the NEM will be in the coming months. Because what did you announce today? 8 new NEM accounts? We haven't changed anything, and you're only getting 8 people, 6 people, 3 people a month. I mean, so the revolution, the solar revolution is being caused by Guam Power Authority. It's no longer going to be caused by individuals. We're going to be making far more solar as a utility than the collective efforts of thousands of individuals trying to ramp up to us. And, you know, is it better to have 1,000 batteries in League One Terrace, or one big battery on a circuit, or on a number of circuits to be the battery? I mean, those are all things that the more you look at it, we're going in the right direction for the ratepayer and someone that wants to use solar.
And just to clarify that, I like where you're going, because if you take all of our farms, the ones we have, the Lad Zone 1, 25, and you add on the 260s, and then you add on the other 40 or 50, we're up above 200 megawatts
And
of
we've got a battery now.
solar,
Yeah.
as opposed to just 26 megawatts of solar.
And we have a battery,
And we have
and we
battery.
have conventional generation, which is a battery, which is the battery for solar.
Yes.
That's the other battery.
So-
You turn on a gen.
So I'm glad John brought this up so that we can understand that we are making progress. The PUC, I hope, will make a decision on one of those issues in April, because they plan on having public hearings on their version of saying, well, if you don't put a battery in, you're going to have to pay.
But the big game will be when we redesign them.
Yes.
And so you're saying
Sometime in the summer.
Sometime this summer, you think you'll have enough
Hopefully.
information to begin to
And do the
articulate
public
policy.
hearings and maybe get a
Go
rate.
through all that.
Yeah, okay?
And the 3 people I hear a month that are.
Okay, just very quickly, very short.
Okay, go ahead.
The Gpa Ws is in the Superior Court again.
Yeah, that's
but
the, yeah.
I'm not sure what to do. I can ask the
Well, then you
judge,
can do.
you know, it's,
we
it
just-
takes his own.
But you know what I do like, John? There are 2 companies that want to provide solar and storage to the Guam Power Authority
Yeah.
at a utility scale. They're arguing over whether it's me or, it's me or him, right?
Yeah, and
But
we're
we
just
have
saying
2
we want
bidders
the
that
lower
say
one.
it's worth it to provide utility scale solar with storage to the Guam Power Authority, and it's cheaper than having 2,000 houses put it on their roof and charge us 21 cents instead of 11
This
cents.
is the 11 cents at full recovery. no? ESS, again, it's been, I'd say commercial operation March 1st, going through the whole process. I think we're going to have a ribbon cutting in first week of April. So then you can really upfront and close see what this thing is like.
John,
But
are you
it's
able-
been working well. It's been working well.
Are you,
yeah.
are you able to tell, without that battery, we would have had incident times where we would have to drop some circuit. Are you able to quantify in any way that we can explain to our ratepayers? And now that we have this battery, we would have knocked out, 5 circuits this night and 10 circuits that day, or some analytics that say, here's what we would have lost, had to shed load for without that battery. This is what this battery is benefiting in terms of the
I
quality of our
think
service.
we're looking at the full month operation in March, and then we'll make that, and then 1 to 2 months up, and then start showing that. There was one day we lost that plan, 18 megawatts. We didn't trip anything.
Okay.
So
Commissioner
it
Chalco.
depends on the certain time of the day, on different things. So yeah, so it is as the benefit. And in addition to that, our base load could run, and the battery is controlling the frequency. And then we add, just like we had said with the smaller units, then we add a unit at a time to bring the batteries back to so it's working. But we need a little bit of time to really make it more, to see the difference. Huh? But it's been very positive.
He actually answered my question,
Oh, okay.
that they're going to get the March data and
Yeah.
then look at April's. But do you have any revised data from the first couple of weeks of March?
Oh, I think in the last board meeting, I showed all the,
Yeah.
remember the...
But
yeah.
do we have any new
Updates?
data with the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Let me see what I have by Tuesday.
Not for now, but for Tuesday.
Yeah, let me see what I have for Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, electric vehicle, yeah, we're turning over one of it in partnership with UOG, and we're just probably next week. We have a energy efficient build home. We work with them on
The sustainability
at
house
UOG.
at the University
Now
of
we're
Guam.
adding electric vehicles so that they can start promoting it throughout, because we have 3, and so we're just doing it under MOA.
One question.
Yeah.
Gave them the car?
It's more like an MOA.
It's a joint promotion.
Yeah, they gave him the car. Yes, they gave him the car.
Oh, no.
You were right the first time.
It's our car.
No, they have to have their own insurance and everything on it. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the reason why it was delayed so long. I'm sorry. You're correct, is that we don't want any liability on it.
It's a liability exposure because
Yes.
it's our property
Vehicle.
and somebody else's hands.
Yeah.
Are they insuring it?
Well, yes.
Yeah, that was why.
No, I would prefer just to give them the car.
You were
Yeah.
right the first time. That's what we did.
No,
Oh, I see what you mean.
give them, yeah, can you just give
I
them
think
the
we give it, I don't know if we give it, but see, we're holding on a little bit so we can be promoted. Ne? No. Understood.
Exposure's not worth the,
all right. No.
Trust me.
But
I
what
think
is the
they-
benefit to GPA though? What is
We
the
want
final
more and
outcome?
more people to, more and more to start using
Buy
it.
electric
And
cars.
really touch it and see that it's really, our team has been using it here day in and day out.
But that's different, that's our employees.
Yeah.
We're covered
I,
under our policy.
I like to,
And it's really the
Yeah, go ahead,
sustainability
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
group going out saying,
Well,
go get an electric car.
No, what it was Simon, Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Santos, before you joined us, we had said, let's get some electric vehicles for our usage.
want
So
to
that
test
for
it.
our
and also to promote it with the public and say,
Tesla.
buy electric vehicles. Because then we can sell electricity, and clean our energy and everything. So in line with that, the university has a sustainability project and all that. And we said if we put a car over there and there's more visibility, let it run around, maybe they'll get more press or whatever. It was all in an effort to move the auto buying public to buy electric. That was the impetus of that.
But wouldn't it be more effective in the commercial market? I mean, when you
We
start
looked at
looking at
that.
the bigger
I
trucks.
think
and-
I think what we're, we've been constantly monitoring the EV, right? And we're it's not like we're not moving forward on all
They're
of
looking
this.
at it, yeah.
We're actually even looking towards some grants now for EV. But really the movement to EV for us, in opinion, is really when the manufacturers start bringing out more and more different models, no? And start bringing the pricing down of the EV. And a lot of that is now happening over the next several years here. So now we have to be very in putting together now an EV plan, which includes the charging stations, all of this. How do we get, because really EV makes a lot of sense for Guam. I mean, even the mileage up are 100, 200 miles now. And, if we travel 30 miles a
And then you
day,
charge at your
then
house.
you're traveling to the south,
Instead of
right?
gas station.
and all of that. So it's getting there now, and it's going to be a benefit for us and our ratepayers, because the more
Kilowatts.
instead of fuel, they're buying electricity, then that
That's
helps
good for us.
with the payment of the
Become a gas
debt.
station.
And,
But I think
yeah.
it needs to be quantified in more, in terms that people, relate to, right? So maybe, do you have the cost per gallon
Sure.
equivalent, right?
We have some numbers there.
That's what they need, right? They
Yeah.
need to know how much in fuel are they gonna save from a pocketbook standpoint.
Yeah.
So we're hoping,
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's
So that
the
will-
data, that's
yeah, Nissan is leading.
Kona,
Yeah.
they have a Kona now,
or the Tesla. And then Tesla makes them too.
yeah.
That's about my son.
Yeah.
I will share the story. We went into the Tesla store down the line. Almost we could fix it. Because it's an engine.
Yeah, it's a motor.
Motor, yeah.
If we task you, for example, and you and GWA, for example, are you planning on buying light trucks?
What is it now? 20? Yeah.
Light
If
trucks.
there are.
Because here's what happened. I'm going to follow the story in Texas. Texas, when they got, now we know Texas, right? So when they got that massive outage, Ford sent 40,000 vehicles, F-150s that are electric or whatever, because they have that inverter station built into the truck. And that became a residence power station.
Power source.
So if we, for example, said from October 1st, 10% of our fleet, because I just parked downstairs again and looked at the line of trucks. I know there's trucks, I think that's where you're going to be, Chantal.
Yeah, even the commercial market from a Gpa perspective, right? That's a big
That's a
revenue
big market,
stream.
yes.
If they win.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
that costs a few, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Mr. Cooley, look, 10% of our fleet for 2022 needs to be an
Yeah.
vehicle.
And
It's got to start with us.
Yes, and that's what we did. We started it.
Not three.
No, I know. Listen, no,
Okay,
they,
More so on the commercial side, right? 'Cause
Right,
that's where
yeah.
you're consuming all of your fuel, is the diesel.
If you go down there,
So look how,
with the growth of the trucks.
yeah, look how we can promote for even the bigger trucks and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think
yeah.
that's why
They
I'm
don't have a
thinking.
Class A tractor trailer just yet that's ready for
Yeah.
production, but
So-
they all have, prototypes,
Yeah, yeah.
There's
Okay.
several, they have several prototypes.
It's almost there. So maybe 1% in 2022 and 10% in 2023 because
you walk your way up.
the products
Maybe
Okay?
that's what you need to do is tell us how many light trucks we have.
And I'll come up with a plan, give
Do
them
inventories and tell us.
Yeah.
an EV
Okay.
replacement plan. Yeah.
Okay.
But
and-
also,
But I want
when you
to
give the car to the sustainability group, let's task them as well. Hey, what we want
Promote.
is outreach, education.
and give them the data on how many,
and
what is
tell
what the
people,
cost
go-
is per kilowatt hour
Yeah.
as,
Let's-
okay,
yeah.
but I also want to give John and his crew some credit too, because they actually were looking at trying to get, once upon a time, an electric school bus as a demo. So but they were looking at it, but they just couldn't find one that was not overly expensive.
And now that's going to be really long because of the 6 feet rule.
Well, no. But I have to acknowledge that their looking was not just at the 3 cars, but that was the first step. But they were even
They're
looking at
coming
a
out in
school
the
bus.
market now. So we have
Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
the last.
John? Commissioner
I
Sanchez.
apologize, Colin. I have to make a dinner, but I just wanted to say, today is a bittersweet day for us. We got notice from Commissioner Guthertz that she will be resigning her position. And,
He's resigned.
we've informed the Election Commission and the public, and I just wanted to take a moment tonight to just say thank her for her service. She was on the first CCU. This is her second go-round, and she's served well, and she's had a great career, and it'll be sad to lose her. But, people move on, and we still have a job to do, and her letter to us was very gracious, and I just wish her well and send her prayers and thank her for her service. And, Mr. Chairman, according to your research, the law says the next highest vote getter would become the eligible.
What I understand from Maria Paulina, and when I talked to her briefly, was that it's the next top vote getter they'll deal with that by,
that's
by,
Peter Roy?
by certifying. They need to do their process.
The FD mafia.
And then they'll inform us.
That
Okay.
completes the FD CCU basketball
Okay.
team.
No. Okay, John, how much more do you have? Because we
The only information, Mr.
Okay.
Chair, is
Commissioners.
47,
Look at the vaccination.
45 to 47 of percent of our employees are
Oh,
vaccinated.
very good, good.
Good.
Yeah. 45 to 47% and climbing,
And climbing.
Good.
They can ask you guys to pilot projects, and they've been improving pilot projects for us.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Oh.
Even better.
One
Yeah.
other thing, we had an extended conversation with Miguel, but the governor has indicated that she wants to help agencies that had revenue impacts due to COVID. And it significantly affected GWA, and they're looking at it. And I know we've had some revenue impact, and all we said on Tuesday was perhaps you can do some outreach to the governor's office, explore that opportunity. Is there a number GPA might want to also pursue
4.6
for,
million.
you know, yeah, there's a revenue
The
impact.
thing is, we had that, we did, we have those numbers actually. Yeah, we'll pull it out.
Well, it's something you need to look at. We asked GWA to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
John,
it seems to
they're
me
not
you
gonna
could,
offer.
you know, you could buy down the LEAC a little bit with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need it on the base
Our
rate side.
revenue
We
loss
should get them all,
for-
right?
You can avoid the, you
So
can
we
avoid the
can ask- we-
disconnection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can-
Okay. Is that it, John?
Yep, that's it, Mr.
Okay, any further business, Mr. Commissioners? Nothing? Motion to adjourn? We're adjourned.
Hey, guys, real quick, so